Welcome back to EPG program in Japanese, paper 5, communication through translation, module 33. As you know, we are doing the translation of joint statement, that is the joint statement between the two prime ministers of Japan and India, particularly for the year 2016. The module has been developed together with Anu Kumari, and special thanks to Surabhi and Varalika for assisting in development of this module. Application of CPCI theory and translating techniques remain the same, mostly for translating joint statement, simplification through combination and permutation, and looking through the prism of CPCI. Handling of content joint statement in this case, and the composition, the paragraph which has been picked up specifically is Malabar exercise paragraph, and the objectives as well as outcome remain the same as these were in the previous module, so I skipped that. Just to warm up the recapitulation from the previous module, topic plus 5W1H we found that works well, but other combinations too must be considered depending upon your own level and the comfort level. In fact, substitution plus frame plus 5W1H, then next could be frame plus 5W1H, further next could be only 5W1H, maybe at some stage even without 5W1H. Questions in 5W1H to be derived from the text, from the verbs in specific. Sequential order is normally a better order. More the verbs or the verbal expressions, more could be the questions. Therefore, main verb should be linked to the topic or the subject to remain focused. Key point which we should keep in your mind is process oriented translation. That means you define the process, it restricts the scope, that inculcates discipline. That means you do not go away from what was given in the original. Language specific issues which were considered as learning point in the previous module are that for certain nouns, Japanese may not render graceful pronoun, whereas in English pronoun is used at second occurrence of a particular noun. The specific example in this case was they for the two prime ministers. Explicit and implicit compounds. In general, Japanese compounds are found explicit, though ambiguous. Element relationship renders implicit equivalents. More elements but no or less particles in between is the specific way of writing Japanese compounds in particular. Therefore, technique to understand the elemental relationship is a very important factor. One way of quality learning process is reverse translation. That means from source language go to the target language and translate it back into the source language. This will confirm, because you can compare the source language first, the original one, and the translated one. If the two are different, this means there is some problem at some stage. Let's go to the example of this module that is related to Malabar exercise. This is 3 plus 2 and 5 plus half line. Again, seems quite complicated. Let's try to truncate the sentence, truncate this paragraph sentence by sentence, and we find it's coming into 3 sentences, 2 plus 1.5 line. Quite simple. Listing the sentences separately increases the amenability, as you can see very clearly that you feel like attempting these sentences. So let's go sentence by sentence now. And the first sentence, identify the main frame. The main frame is Ryoshinowa Hyokashita. So the two prime ministers appreciate it. Nani o hyokashita? New Delhi de, yes, can you read out?
New Delhi de okonawareta Nenji Boe So Kaidan no Seiko.
Okay, so is actually Boe So. So Boe So is Boe ministers. Kaidan no Seiko o Hyokashita. Okay. Soshite, you'll have to read loudly the answer.
Kaijo Kyodo Kunran Marabar Eno Nihon no Teiki Teki Sanka.
Okay, so they appreciated Teiki Teki Sanka. Rest is adjectival. Okay, this is also clear. Sorikara?
Oyobi Vishakapattanam Engan ni okeru Kokusai Kankan Shiki no Nihon no Teiki Teki Sanka.
So once again Teiki Teki Sanka. Okay. So because teki teki sanka is coming at two places, so then it can go as well as. You can see in the third one the equivalent has got as well as, so A as well as B. So simplification, segregating mainframe and other elements makes the process quite simple, as it is quite clear from here. And now let's see the published version, then the next Japanese translation and the reverse translation, and we see that there is not much difference. That means the two translations are almost same. Maybe the sentence was simple. Let's see that in the process. But capturing the mainframe and its application on remaining components cannot be disregarded. Frame capturing 2 cannot be customized. Ryoshinowa AB oyobi CO hyokashita. In the same case, it was Ryoshinowa hyokashita was taken as the frame. It can also be AB oyobi CO hyokashita. This can also be the main frame. The key is to engage with full focus but without indulgence, at least in the beginning. Now let's go for the CPCI, and the published version we are picking up successful annual defense ministerial dialogue. See, it is ministerial dialogue, defense ministerial dialogue, annual defense ministerial dialogue appears to be a fixed term, and successful is coming as an adjective. The Japanese equivalent is nenji boe boesho boeso kaigi no seiko. So kaigi no seiko appears to be a fixed term only, so it may be better to take it up as a unit, and peripheral is the equivalent in this case, because successful is there seiko, annual is nenji, that's also there. Defense ministerial dialogue, this ministerial is not getting transferred directly. Malabar exercise is again, yeah, this is Malabar is a, in Japanese it's coming as Kaijo Kyodo Kunden Marabar. So Marabar is coming as it is, but it's the exercise is explained, which is Kaijo Kyodo. This is further explanation given. In reverse translation, of course, this will get translated, so it's coming as core equivalent. In the case of English published version to the Japanese translation, it's an implicit translation. Yeah. Held in New Delhi. So New Delhi de okonawareta, held in New Delhi is almost okay, and this is peripheral equivalent because it can be translated in other ways also. Let's see the second sentence. We're going directly with the 5W1H. Okay, and yeah, the print is too small. I think you will have to help me in reading.
First question is, Darega nani o saikaku nishita? Okay,
Darega nani o saikaku nishita. So she has made two questions into one. Nani o saikaku nishita? Nani o saikaku nishita. So two questions have been put into one. So answer is Ryoshuno wa is dare, then something, and then it is Anzen Hosho. Can you read the further? Boe?
Boe bumi ni okiru nikoku kan no taiba o sarani fukameru koto e no kibo o saikaku nishita. Okay, so something o saikaku nishita, Ryoshuno wa saikaku nishita. So two questions have been answered. So dono yoni? Boe to tokyoku 当局者間協議および海上保安当局間協力を通じて。Okay, so one is 協議 and the other is 協力を通じて and そして両首脳が2プラス2対話防衛政策対話。Okay, so there are two plus 2 対話 and 政策対話。Okay, and this is the sum total of the sentence, so it's coming. Okay, let's compare it. This is the published version and the reverse TR through 5W1H, and reverse TR in English is done through 5W1H only in this case. Show something amiss, probably not captured properly in the original. You can see the two are not matching. So I think we have to go one step maybe low, or I don't know what you'll call, to the basics and use frame plus 5W1H for the reverse translation. Let's try it again now. Okay, so this is the frame now. Ryoshuno wa saikaku nishita. Okay, now as soon as you started, now this frame will get applied on the questions. Ryo shuno wa saikaku ni shita. Nani o saikaku ni shita. So it's a kibo o saikaku ni shita. Next. Nani ni oite. So it is anzen hosho. Then boe bunya ni okeru. Okay. Dono yo ni plus ni taiwa and another taiwa. And I think third is what? Kyogi oyobi kyoryoku. So taiwa, kyogi and kyoryoku o tsujite. So through A, B, C, D. Now this has shown this simplification or this use of 5W1H with the frame shows that segregating main frame and other elements makes the process simple. Now we can see here the published version, the Japanese TR of course was fine. Then reverse translation through 5W1H, if you see the red part, this was not captured correctly. Now this gets corrected in the reverse TR through frame plus 5W1H. So difference in the second reverse TR is attributable to frame capturing. Key here is 5W1H with frame. What it means is that with frame, that you may do it physically with frame, or you can keep the frame in your mind while putting the questions. That means jumping directly to the 5W1H could be dangerous. So this is one example which indicates or which tells you why the frame should be used. So it's an indication of realistic self-assessment. So 5W1H is a higher level and no 5W1H is still higher level. So you can go to still higher level but go step by step. Indeed, frame capturing is an important process which helps in rendering the accurate translation. Now, the published version, the Japanese translation and the reverse translation, that is the final one, revised one, based on frame plus 5W1H is given here, and we are picking up the elements. Desire to further deepen. Sarani fukameru. Up to here is fine, further deepen. Fukameru koto e no kibo. So desire to further deepen, and here is fukameru koto e no kibo. Hope for further deepening. You can see the difference. In one case it's a verb, and in the other case it's becoming noun. So it's peripheral, considered quasi universal unit. Then bilateral security and defense dialogues. This is quite simple. Bilateral security and defense dialogue. So anzen hosho, boe bunyani okeru, nikoku kanno taiwa. It's not coming in the same flow. That means the style has been changed. Reverse translation is okay, and the comment as it says here in the published version, security and defense dialogue had bilateral as adjective. In Japanese translation, the bilateral has become adjective for dialogues. Now further, ni okeru gives the flair of action. However, while translating reverse from Japanese to English frame has been maintained. It's implicit when you see the Japanese into when you see the published version translated into Japanese translation, the explicit at clause level, therefore the category is implicit, and reverse translation was core at the clause level. Defense policy dialogue. Defense policy dialogue is a fixed, it's happening on annual basis, so obviously it should be captured as a unit, and the translation is boe seisaku taiwa. It's word to word if you see the defense policy dialogue. So here comes an example where you can say that the relationship of elements even in English is not clear. Now for an Indian, defense policy dialogue doesn't need any explanation, you will understand what it means. Similarly for a Japanese, boe seisaku taiwa is understood by all the Japanese. The only thing is that relationship is not explicit because the particles are missing. So it means that you need either corpus of such terms to have the exact equivalence, or probably practice it to a certain level where the equivalence gets clear in your mind. So I think it's core, very clearly it's core, because word to word equivalence is also there and the concept level equivalence is also there. So deciphering elemental relationship could be tough. I think proper nouns should be left untouched as you can see in this particular case. Then is military to military talks. Again, this is a military to military talks as a fixed phrase. In Japanese, it's translated as Boe Tokyoku Sha Kan Kyogi. Kyogi is fine, that is talks, and Kan stands for what is military to military, that is between the two, that is Kan here. And there is some addition here, and that addition is Tokyoku, that means relevant office. So in English it is not so explicit, in Japanese it's more explicit, therefore the category is implicit. So published translation, as you say, published to Japanese translation, Japanese equivalent is implicit in the sense that it is, the relationship is not very clearly defined, may be considered as a unit, and Japanese translation, reverse translation, in this particular case is incorrect because of deciphering or incorrect deciphering of the elemental relationship. Coast Guard to Coast Guard cooperation, almost same as what it was in the previous one. There is a slight difference in the elements that are used. In the previous one, Sha was coming after the noun. Here that Sha is not coming, and it's coming as Kaijo Hoan for the Coast Guard, Tokyoku Kan, Kyoryoku, and it's cooperation, so Kyoryoku is fine. Now published to Japanese TR, Japanese equivalent is implicit. Japanese TR to reverse TR missed while deciphering the elemental relationship, as it says dialogue between the defense officials. Fine. This can be considered as a quasi-universal unit because it's Kaijo Hoan is Coast Guard, and Tokyoku Kan can also be a separate unit. Kyoryoku, of course, doesn't need to be taken into consideration for separate inclusion in the database. Going to the third example, here it says, let's say the frame Kangeshita, because there is no subject here coming, so Kangeshita, welcomed, okay. Ryoshunowa, ni plus ni, and then at the end it says Osaika Kunishita, okay. This Ryoshunowa is actually the previous clause, and here the sentence begins with Mata, so it's coming from there. So Ryoshunowa Osaika Kunishita, Ryoshunowa O Kangeshita. So Mata acts as a conjunction and indicates that this is in continuation of previous sentence. So in any case, previous wa is also there to determine the topic or the subject. Yeah, this is Ryoshunowa Kangeshita, because now this Ryoshuno is coming from the previous sentence. Nani o Kangeshita? Okay, seibi sareta koto o kangeshita, fine. それは何か特徴がありますか？すべての三群衆において組織間のつなぐ。Okay, 組織間をつなぐ。組織と組織をつなぐ。Okay, and that is すべての三群間 or 三群衆ですね。三群衆において。So in the all three services, it connects the bodies to bodies or the organization to organization, that means institutions to institutions. どうやって？空軍州スタッフ特殊が開催されたことにより。Okay, 特殊が初めて開催されたことにより。Okay, that's the way. Now this is the translation, and this year has been left blank because this is something which has been not dealt with in this paragraph and can be handled separately. Okay, so published version as well as reverse, you can see are same. TR have almost same frame with minor difference of style. This style is carried forward from Japanese TR, and Mata acts as conjunction and thus translated as also, but Mata also gives the hint regarding the topic for this sentence, which is actually, if there is a possibility that it's repeated after Mata also, but normally you have to fetch the topic from the previous sentence. Honnen can be treated as quasi-universal unit. This year, Hon can change and this can change accordingly. CPCI for this example, Air Force staff talks, and it's Kugun Shu staff talks and core at unit level for Japanese TR as well as for reverse TR. There is shu here in between, is used to distinguish from other services. In English, if you say Air Force, it's automatically distinguished from, say for example, Naval Force. In the case of Japanese, Kugun and Kaigun does make the difference, but shu has been added for making it explicit. Now with is getting translated as niori, something koto niori. So in published to Japanese TR, with is translated as niori, which is preceded by an act with the completion of the act, and it is implicit that way and as a pattern for Japanese TR and also for the reverse TR. Now covering all three services, subete no sanshu sangunshu ni oite is fine in all the three services, but it is implicit because the two are totally different style of writing. Institutional is getting translated as soshiki kan osnagu. This is good equivalence for to be kept as in the corpus, because its reuse will be very frequency of reuse will be very high. It's implicit because in English it is institutional, implicit, whereas in Japanese it's explaining soshiki kan osnagu. So soshiki to soshiki osnagu, basically this is what it means. Wide-ranging dialogue mechanism, Hawahiroi Taiwa mechanism. Extensive dialogue mechanism is fine. Hawahiroi wide-ranging is a better equivalent as a core. So Japanese TR is the core equivalent for the published version, and reverse TR is peripheral. Okay, that's all in this module. And learning for, let me sum up some of the important points which we can say the learning of this module. While translating long or complex paragraphs, the key for way forward is simplification. Simplification means sentence by sentence, selection of technique, engage without indulgence is the key here. In 5W1H versus frame plus 5W1H, better to stick to the simpler one. You may feel 5W1H is simple for you because you are quite experienced, so fine, but if you are not, then use frame plus 5W1H at least to begin with for some time. 5W1H application depends on individual's ability. Fear of complacency is there, therefore it's not so advisable to go for 5W1H alone. Frame plus 5W1H relatively easy, increases the comfort level, and at least it ensures the accuracy. To find topic subject when it is missing in the sentence, you can go back to the previous sentence. Mata was a conjunction which was used in this particular case. It could be shikashi also sometimes. Then to deal with the kanji compounds, deciphering elemental relationship could be tough. Though it is useful in clear understanding, proper nouns may be left untouched and equivalent should be picked up from the relevant documents or from the internet. Such proper nouns may be considered as a unit. For example, we have listed some here. For example, Boe Seisaku Taiba for defense policy dialogue. Building corpus of units will go a long way in skill up for you. Back or reverse translation is an effective tool to check accuracy of the translated text. That means starting from source language, going to the target language, and translating it back into the source language. That is the reverse translation. What is meant by back or reverse here is not the translation process, it's the translation itself, source language to target language and then going back to the source language is an important tool for ensuring the accuracy. These are the references which were used for this particular module. Thank you so much. See you again in module 34 with few more examples.